Now, voters in the former Soviet Republic of Belarus are going to the polls to elect a new parliament. The polls opened 2 hours ago, but the two main opposition parties have called for a boycott, saying free and fair elections are impossible under the government of President Alexander Lukashenko. He was re-elected, of course, for a fourth term in 2010 after demonstrations were violently suppressed and many opposition leaders jailed.
Belarus gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. 3 years later, Alexander Lukashenko took charge. He's often referred to as Europe's last dictator. His party won 100% of parliamentary seats in 2008. And Lukashenko won his fourth presidential victory in 2010. And the opposition says the electoral process is so flawed that Belarusians should go fishing instead.
Officials in Belarus say some 19% of the country's electorate have already cast their ballots in 4 days of early voting. For many voters, the result of the parliamentary polls is already clear.
I already know that the election has taken place. Everything has already been decided. Who will get elected and get how many votes and so on.
It's one of the most low-key ballots in Belarus since its independence from the USSR 20 years ago. The main opposition parties have pulled their candidates out, calling on the nation to go mushroom picking or fishing, rather than vote in what they see as a sham exercise to elect a rubber-stamp parliament.
Whether or not we participate in the ballot doesn't really matter to the authorities. Our goal now is to demonstrate to Belarusian society, to European society and to journalists that there are no elections in Belarus.
A move received with disdain by the country's president, who's ruled Belarus with an iron fist since 1994.
The opposition have shown that they are nothing, that they will lose even if they get a few votes from those who will still support them. But then again, they may have made the right decision because they don't even have decent candidates.
Lukashenko's landslide re-election victory 2 years ago triggered a massive protest, which the authorities brutally suppressed. The US and the EU have imposed economic sanctions on Belarus over its crackdown on opposition groups and independent media.
Election authorities say almost 20% of registered voters have already cast their ballot during the 4 days of advanced voting. What's happening in Belarus can hardly even be called a falsification. The results are well known beforehand, and it doesn't matter how the people vote, as the Election Commission will announce the figures which they have received ahead of the election. It's not even a falsification. It simply means the votes are not counted at all.